A packed national park. Waterton sees so many visitors over the long weekend, some people had to be turned away. A solid season for summer camps. Lethbridge programs are packed as children make the most of the break from school. And ready to represent Lethbridge. Local athletes prepare to compete for Team Alberta at the Canada Summer Games.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jordan Canigan.
Hello and thank you for joining us. It was a busy long weekend for national parks across the province, with many people taking advantage of the free Canada Strong Pass. But one park got so busy, tourists had to be turned away. Carson Marsuk reports.
The Heritage Day long weekend is generally one of the busiest for businesses at Waterton Lakes National Park.
It's always the biggest, always the busiest. So we were expecting the big crowds.
But on Sunday, it got a little too busy.
Before lunchtime, the team observed using a traffic model, on-the-ground observations, and an estimate of vehicles in the park overnight. They noted that we were on a very high level of visitation.
At which point, staff made the decision to divert traffic and close the park gate for about 5 hours.
What we observed was congestion on the roadways, both throughout the park to popular places like Red Rock Parkway, Cameron Lake, and through the town site, as well as limited parking availability.
Well, too early to estimate how many people visited Waterton Lakes over the weekend. Business owners say the majority are taking advantage of the federal government's Canada Strong Pass to get in for free.
The amount of local Canadian traffic has spiked very noticeably.
Shamir Suleman says the start to the summer season has been slower than expected due to the rainy forecast, but is anticipating a busy August and fall season.
Been a busier year than we're used to, not the record-breaking that we thought.
Last year marked the second busiest on record with more than 540,000 visitors. Parks Canada says efforts to raise awareness of trip planning, promoting shorter season and less sensitive areas of the park, and managing crowd sizes are ongoing.
We do post updates on congestion at popular areas throughout the day on weekends, and certainly factor in arriving early.
Carson Marsuk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
More than 5,000 people took in yesterday's Heritage Day Festival at Henderson Lake Park. The free festival featured cultural events, food vendors, live entertainment, children's activities, and more. Organizers say the day was an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the diverse cultural traditions that help shape our city. While summer camps are in full swing across Lethbridge, counselors have had their hands full as kids make the most of their summer break. Quinn Keenan has more.
The YMCA's day camps have been close to capacity since they started earlier this summer. The week-long day camps give kids the chance to get outside, play games, and make new friends.
It's gone amazing. We're just getting into week 5 here. We're doing an Under the Sea theme. But we've had a blast. All the kids have been having so much fun doing all the little crafts and just getting outside and enjoying the summer.
Day camps at the YMCA have become a favorite for local families. Many kids have been coming back year after year.
Our attendance has been really good. We've had a lot of new campers and a lot of campers from returning years as well. So we have campers that recognized some of the old camp leaders. So we build those relationships kind of year over year.
The University of Lethbridge is offering a different kind of summer camp experience. Destination Exploration is running a series of STEM-based camps throughout the summer.
Really just aiming to bring the joy and fun and excitement and curiosity into STEM to our community, and to show them that everybody can do hard things, and science is for everybody, and we're here to have some fun.
Kids can learn about a variety of topics, including coding, astronomy, engineering, and medical science. It gives the attendees a chance to learn new skills and broaden their horizons.
Kids are able to explore and try new things that they wouldn't necessarily have at school, but it is a really fun way to kind of learn about the world around us in an environment that is totally with zero pressure for anybody to have any marks or anything like that. It's just really to have fun.
Destination Exploration also offers after-school programs throughout the school year. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
City Work will shut down parts of 3rd Avenue South for the next 10 days. Construction begins today on the underground utility work near the southwest corner of Galt Gardens. 3rd Avenue between 4th and 5th will be closed. The sidewalk along the road will be shut down, as will the north alleyway nearby. Detours will be in place until August 15th. Well, the cause of a tire fire over the weekend is still under investigation. Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services responding to the blaze Sunday afternoon at Kirk's Trail Tire along the 200 block of 22nd Street North. Thick black smoke could be seen from across the city. Crews were able to bring the fire under control quickly. No one was injured. Anyone with information is asked to call Lethbridge Police. Well, let's bring in Gina now, and a pretty active weather day out there, pretty much right across the province.
Yeah, it really is. Though the watches and warnings map wouldn't suggest that's the scenario right now. We are seeing a few areas that are impacted currently, but I could see this changing pretty rapidly throughout the next couple of hours here. So we'll show you the radar satellite in our main weather, and you'll get a better idea of what's triggering all these storms and where they're tracking to. We do have a low thunderstorm risk for the evening here in Lethbridge, 26 degrees currently. That's right where we should be for this time of year. That is your average high. So winds out of the northwest right now might make it feel a little bit cooler. And of course, the thunderstorm risk, while low, still possible. And we'll play that out in your future cast here as we get into your main weather. But for tonight, dropping down to 14 degrees, up to 26 tomorrow. So another average day ahead for Wednesday, Jordan. Of your full forecast coming up.
Thank you, Gina. Canvassers are going door to door collecting signatures on a petition looking to make sure Alberta stays in Canada.
You know, Albertans are proud Canadians. Albertans consider themselves Canadians first, and for a variety of reasons.
The group known as Forever Canadian gathered in Edmonton this weekend to start collecting signatures. The petition calls for a referendum on the question, do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? The province's chief electoral officer issued the petition last week. The group must now collect nearly 294,000 signatures by the end of October before it can be filed with Elections Alberta. Fort Macleod RCMP looking for a 38-year-old woman who has been missing for nearly 2 weeks. Terry Ann Marie Frances Wood was last seen on July 24th. She's about 4'11", 95 pounds with a fair complexion and blonde hair. RCMP are concerned for her well-being. Anyone with information on her whereabouts are asked to call RCMP. Lethbridge's police chief will stay on as the city's top cop for another 4 years. The Lethbridge Police Commission announcing that Chief Shaheen Madizadeh contract has been extended until 2029. The commission says the chief has provided consistent leadership through a period of transition and change. The extension comes at a time when the city's crime severity index dropped 19% compared to the year before. Madizadeh began his policing career with the RCMP in 1989 and has been with LPS since 2020. The commission says his contract extension will help continue momentum in a positive direction in the years to come. The University of Lethbridge has selected a local contractor to renovate the Southern Alberta Medical Program teaching facility. Ward Bros Construction will revamp the Centre for Community Wellbeing to house the new medical program. The 5,000 square meter facility will include an anatomy lab and new clinic to support hands-on learning. The new program will allow students the opportunity to earn a University of Calgary medical degree while completing their training in Southern Alberta. The new space is anticipated to be open next summer. Well, hundreds of active wildfires continue to rage throughout Manitoba, but it's not just people that are impacted, but wildlife too. Alex Carpa has more on how the wildfires could impact polar bears and their denning habits.
At the shores of Hudson Bay sits Wapusk National Park in northeastern Manitoba. It's one of the world's largest known polar bear denning areas, crucial for the survival of newborn cubs.
Looking at where polar bear dens are. And
Stephen Peterson, the Director of Conservation and Research at Winnipeg's Assiniboine Park Conservancy, says a warming climate and a drying subarctic landscape is increasing the fire risk up north, placing polar bears in ever-increasing danger.
if we then start eroding and picking away at that denning habitat that's so important for producing new cubs and keeping those populations sustainable, then polar bears are just kind of getting another whammy that will make them less likely to be in Manitoba in the long term.
He is now hoping to create a map that can help inform wildfire fighting efforts in the future to protect wildlife in the north.
If we want to protect polar bear habitat, knowing where that habitat is and what's at high risk will help make those decisions.
Climate change is happening at a pace that is unprecedented.
Megan Jones has studied the impact climate change is having on polar bears and whether they can adapt to an evolving climate. In her ongoing study, she discovered that for every degree of climate warming, these polar bears along the western shores of the Hudson Bay are aging biologically by 1 year.
As we are losing ice in the Arctic due to climate change, bears are spending more time swimming, which is 5 times more energetically intensive than walking, so they're using energy a lot faster.
Manitoba's fire map shows 1 small active fire in Wapusk National Park and 2 other fires in the region, but it's not just the fires that could impact bears, but smoke too.
When polar bears are inhaling these gases, they're inhaling particulate matter, it's going to result in inflammation in their bodies as well.
Jones says the Arctic is expected to warm for at least the next 100 years, but in the meantime, she is doing everything she can to protect polar bears in the north. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Still to come, the number of organ donors jumps in Alberta, how it's helping hundreds of people get a second chance at life. A mudslide closed a portion of Highway 40 south of Kananaskis Village over the weekend. It occurred sometime Saturday afternoon. It happened between the Mount Lipset Day Use area and Miss Creek Day Use area. Crews arrived at the scene around 10 o'clock Saturday night and began clearing the debris field. They say the rocks and trees were as high as 2 meters and covered 60 meters of the highway. Some hikers had been out hiking earlier in the day and were shocked at what they came across just 6 hours later.
Kind of dawned upon me how severe that was, because especially considering that was only about a few hundred meters to the trailhead or where even the cars were parked, and the bridge was all intact and the river was flowing all fine when we went up, but now the whole bridge was taken down. There was a huge pile of mud, debris, soil. There were plants, big trees that had kind of taken the bridge out.
The latest information from 511 Alberta shows the area is still closed with no estimate as to when it might reopen.
Taking a look outside now through our Skywatch weather camera, and yeah, more rain looking to be in the forecast, not just today with that rain cloud looking shot out of the northwest there, but later this week as well. We're expecting some more sustained showers. So I'll walk you through what our upper air setup is showing that's indicating that rain in a couple minutes here. But right now, let's take a look at what's happening today. This is our Tuesday storm outlook, and you can see Lethbridge is in that moderate risk category where rain could fall, localized amounts of up to 55 millimeters. Hail also a possibility, and that could span about 3 centimeters in diameter. Winds don't seem to be too much of a hazard for us in our zone, but that's a different case in that minor risk area, still up to 80 kilometers an hour. So what's happening right now is we have this high pressure at the surface right over the mountains there. You can see it's pushing all these storm cells over the Rockies and into the foothills. Here's the thing with high pressure, it's always seeking out the low pressure, and the low pressure is over in Saskatchewan, and it is a huge low pressure system over there. So that's our pattern right now. It's all churning and trying to connect with this surface low in the central part of the prairies that's producing a ton of rain. We're expecting, again, that potential for thunderstorms throughout the evening here. So lifted that lightning layer for you. And radar satellites showing, yeah, these isolated cells are getting close to the Lethbridge area. Hard to say if they'll dissipate before they get to the city or build in strength. Bit of a wait and see, but we are aware of that situation. It should only be a couple of hours, though. We do see our futurecast calming things down as we get into the overnight hours. Nice sunny start to Wednesday morning there. Expect those clouds to build in the afternoon, so a bit of a cloudier evening, but not a lot of rain expected for our area yet. That will start to change. This model won't get quite to that point, but it'll be late day Thursday. Yes, you get the nice clear morning, that usual pattern, but it's going to be from the states that we see that rain start to pull up and make for a cloudy, gloomy start to the weekend. This is our upper air setup, so we see that trough bringing instability now and starts to really dig in to BC as we get into Thursday morning, and then really pulls through to parts of the Alberta-U.S. border as we get into late Thursday and into Friday. So very cloudy setup, and then it starts to really gain some strength as it gets more into the central prairies. So the East Kootenay tonight has that thunderstorm risk, and that'll continue tomorrow with a high of 23 degrees. Very seasonal setup for the most part this week. Crow's Nest Pass, similar story. Stronger winds tomorrow out of the west at 40 to 60 kilometers an hour, but a good amount of sunshine. And then when we look ahead to Medicine Hat here, there is that chance of thunderstorms tonight, but more so tomorrow. You are to the east close enough to Saskatchewan there where that instability could really start to develop later in the day. For Lethbridge here, we will see a nice seasonal high of 26 for tomorrow as well. Pretty good Thursday for the most part, but like I mentioned, that rain working its way back again into the forecast on Friday.
Alberta is reporting 35 new measles cases over the long weekend. It includes 13 more cases in the south, bringing the zone closer to 1,000. The north zone recording 18 new cases, while 4 were found in Edmonton. The province has now recorded nearly 1,700 measles cases in total. 11 are considered active. A record number of Albertans were organ donors last year. Numbers from Alberta Health Services show 317 deceased people donated organ or tissue in 2024. That led to 423 transplants in the province. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives, while a tissue donor can save up to 75 people. Alberta's wait list for people needing transplants is still over 500. 2024 marked the third straight increase in donors. Well, coming up, a new Canadian tennis phenom, how her performance is inspiring young players as she climbs up the ranks. The 2025 Canada Summer Games are set to start in Newfoundland, Labrador later this week, and Lethbridge will be well represented. 16 athletes from sports such as basketball, swimming, lacrosse, rugby, and wrestling are heading to the games. 4 team coaches and managers from the city will also be a part of Team Alberta. The Summer Games are Canada's version of the Olympics and Paralympic Games, with each athlete having to qualify for the tournament. Both athletes and coaches say they're excited to represent Lethbridge on the national stage.
I feel proud that I made it this far and that I'm able to show what I'm made of and show what Lethbridge is made of, because I feel like we get put down as a city because Calgary is the bigger cities, Edmonton's got the bigger cities, but I'm proud of it, can show what I'm made of.
I feel very proud and very lucky to get to represent Alberta. I feel like not only am I representing Alberta, but all the people that got me here, like my family, friends, all the coaches and people that I've played with before, so it's very special to me.
The Canada Games may be a stepping stone for some of these athletes, but it may also be the highest level they ever compete in. So either way, it's a very exciting moment for them.
The 2-week games kick off in St. John's on Friday and could be live streamed online at canadagames.ca. Most WCBL teams finished their regular season last night. The Lethbridge Bulls heading into the postseason on a winning note with a 7-3 victory over the Brooks Bombers. Medicine Hat dropped their final game, losing 7-5 to the league-leading Saskatoon Berries. The first round of the WCBL playoffs starts tomorrow night. While summer of change continues for the Lethbridge Hurricanes, the club announcing forward Anthony Wilson has cleared waivers. Wilson joined the Hurricanes this year after acquiring him in a trade with the Regina Pats. He managed 7 points in 29 regular season games with the Canes. He chipped in another 4 points during the playoffs. The overager will now be able to sign with any team. Well, Canada has a new tennis star blossoming right at home. Victoria Mboko is quickly rising up the ranks, and now she's punched her ticket to the semifinals on home soil. Her performance is also inspiring the next generation, even though she's just a teenager herself. Allison Hurst reports.
What a great rally! As Victoria Mboko reaches the semi-finals in the National Bank Open in Montreal, young tennis fans are watching.
Yeah, it makes me feel pride for like someone who came near this area actually got to a really high level at this young age, and it kind of motivates me.
Samuel Liu says he watches with his dad.
I think that's amazing, and it inspires my dad too, because my dad also plays a lot of tennis.
18-year-old Mboko has booked her ticket to the semifinals at the National Bank Open following a stunning defeat of top seed Coco Gauff and another dominant performance in the quarters.
Wow, what a story that is unfolding in Montreal with 18-year-old Victoria Mboko. Take this in for a moment. A year ago, Mboko was ranked outside the top 300. Yes, top 300 in the WTA rankings. And now she's cracked the top 50 by advancing to the semifinals at the National Bank Open, her home tournament. Just a remarkable result and dream run, really, for the 18-year-old. A real star on the rise in Canadian tennis.
Mboko is the first Canadian to reach the semi since 2019 when Bianca Andreescu won the tournament.
I need you guys to get into partners, please.
Nike tennis camp coaches like Cameron Bentley are using her success and lessons from the court to inspire his campers.
You may win the first set, you still got to win the second one. So, yeah, just, enjoy it, I guess. I'm sure she enjoyed it.
Mboko's next match is tomorrow. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Still ahead, the fossils all around you, how you may be missing pieces of history right under your feet. You may be walking past fossils every day and not even know it. This weekend, the Alberta Wilderness Association hosting a fossil tour to show you what you might be missing.
It's incredible. I can't believe that it's just used on just regular architecture.
In Calgary, several can be found in the limestone blocks placed outside the Kensington Safeway. It comes from the town of Tyndall, about 30 kilometers northeast of Winnipeg. It is used as an ornamental building stone throughout Canada, including in Lethbridge and southern Alberta. The limestone blocks are about 450 million years old.
They're going to learn about a kind of ancient environment, from what happened 450 million years ago. It was marine. It was tropical, warm marine. So they're going to be seeing here things like seashells, algae, nautiloids, trilobites, all sorts of stuff.
You can also find the limestone at the Rimrock Hotel in Banff and the Chateau Lake Louise. That's it for our show this afternoon. Thanks for watching. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.